Doctors take Field of Greens for their own health. Here's Dr. Ryan Green to explain.
We're like you, too much fast food and not enough exercise. That's why I take Field of Greens. The fruits and vegetables in Field of Greens support my heart, lungs, kidneys, and metabolism for weight loss. And Field of Greens promises your doctor will notice your improved health or your money back.
Get 15% off with promo code HEALTH at fieldofgreens.com. That's promo code HEALTH at fieldofgreens.com. Product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
What is up, Panther fans? We got our first win today. Oh, wait. The Panthers lost by 21, but sure as hell felt like a win for the Panther fans, or at least for Tony Dunn. It felt like a win for 15 minutes. Man, the Carolina Panthers at once, that for a moment, didn't just step on my heart and crush it. 15 minutes of glory and greatness. And then I tell you what, man, then the Dolphins just came back with a vengeance. Tyreek Hill, man, unstoppable. Panthers defense cannot stop the run. It remains, look, you can put anybody in there. Cody Lack can run on this Panthers defense right now.
For sure.
But boy, I don't know why today felt like such a good day when you get blown out 42-21. I felt like it was a win, guys. My name's Tony Dunn. It's the C3 Panthers postgame show. The Carolina Panthers are 0-6. It's been a tough road to hoe, should we say. Today was not the worst of it for me.
No, not the worst at all. Not the worst at all. And then you know what, man? They say that there's 5 stages of grief, and I don't know what all of them are, but I know I'm at acceptance, dude. I'm not going to be pissed off. We knew that the Dolphins were going to win today. Everybody was predicting the Dolphins to win. We started out running the football better than we had before. Bryce looked okay today, but he also missed some big-time downfield throws that are kind of continuing to plague his rookie season. Look, man, it's another edition of the C3 Panthers podcast. Happy to be back with you all. Tony Dunn, you know I got the best Panther fans in the building. We got our guy Drew, Alex Stark, D's Ill Skills. What up, D's? Carolina in the house. Fast Zone News, Double JR, Josh Dyson, KG73s, Roosevelt Mongo, Mortensen, Stephen Bailey, and TJ. Tony Dunn, another tough loss. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
The number's 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. Tell us what you think about the Carolina Panthers' victorious first quarter. Bryce Young's continued improvement, but also the continued struggles when that offensive line doesn't hold up and the missing pieces around him. And when I talk about the missing pieces, it's Adam Thielen and Chuba Hubbard, and that seems to be about it. And on that defense, boy, I got to tell you, Sam Franklin's my guy, dude. This guy out there popping people. I don't know. I mean, at least, hey, he was one guy I was cheering for today. But this Carolina Panthers defense can't stop any running backs. Any team can just run at will. If you're a running back trying to get paid, you want to play the Carolina Panthers. In fact, maybe you don't, because then they can just put in the third stringer and show that you're not worth anything. CK, the Carolina Panthers started out really under the best potential circumstances you could have. 14, two touchdowns. Defense got the Miami Dolphins off the field twice. I don't know. I can't remember. I think it was 2 3-and-outs. The Dolphins made a couple of mistakes on their own. The Panthers defense made a couple of plays, and the Panthers fans had hope for a moment. And really, the Panthers weren't entirely out of this game until, I don't know, midway through the third. I don't know. It was like there was still some opportunities of life. And even when it felt like it was all over and dead, a pick six brought me brought a smile to my face late in the game.
Yeah, against Mike White. So, you know, it's one of those ones where where you're kind of like, it feels good, but at the same time, like, is it really any positives to be taken from that? Listen, here's the thing. This was only ever going to end one way. The fact that the first quarter went the way that it did should have gotten you excited and happy and seeing progress made from the way this offense looked. Now, again, that died down rather quickly, and we were back to being the Carolina Panthers of old, outside of the lack of turnovers, which is a big step forward. But here's the thing, guys: we were dealing with the going up and being up 14-0 was not a good thing for us. And the reason I say that is because you're basically opening this team up to just have to throw the ball against us all of a sudden. And when you're down, that's the last thing you want to do when you have nobody starting in your secondary except for Dante Jackson. And that was it. And Dante Jackson did exactly what Dante Jackson does, and that is he got beat by a guy who's also supposed to be a speedster, and he wasn't able to keep up with him. This secondary has been abysmal, and granted, the offense didn't do anything after the first quarter. This defense did absolutely nothing to make it feel like it was even an opportunity. They didn't have a single 3-and-out after that first quarter. Not a single.
He frozen in time. You froze that they didn't have a single 3-and-out.
It also made, there was a point when we were down 14-35 and we were still taking no downfield passing attacks. The Carolina Panthers are allergic to passing the football downfield. And you can point the finger at a bunch of different places, but the play calling is not good. Adam Thielen looked okay. Bryce has been well across the middle, and I think that he's continued to grow on that. He has a great connection with Adam Thielen, but the fact of the matter is there were two big-time plays, one on third down where he had DJ Chark open, and Bryce just missed the pass, sailed over him. And then there was a 4th and 1 later in the game that I feel like Bryce missed a ball to Hayden Hurst on 4th and 1, where he had at least enough separation to be able to fit that ball in there, man. So a lot of up and down. And then, Tony, you already alluded to it, man. Like, we made the Miami Dolphins running backs, like Raheem Mostert. Dude, they looked like Jim Brown out there, dude.
Well, they've done that to a couple of teams this year already.
Especially us.
Greg, when you talk about the stat daddy, the bat daddy, Tyreek Hill he had 6 catches for 163 yards and a touchdown. He, I think, set the record for the most receiving yards through 6 games to begin the season. That's going back to a 1963 record. So I guess that was like the first guy to ever catch passes against a team that didn't know forward passes were coming or something. But Tyreek Hill's unstoppable. I don't even care about Dante Jackson not keeping up. I don't know if you guys
say that every week. Why?
Well, I know you've never done it, Cody. I know you've never done it, but anybody go out into your front yard today and go and try to backpedal for 5 yards as fast as you can.
Bullshit. He's an NFL player, man.
Yeah, but but it's also Tyreek Hill, dude.
Yeah, but
that's what I'm saying. Tyreek Hill.
He's like happens to everyone. He's good for getting burned at least.
Okay, I'm just saying this is what you thought he was gonna not get burned anyway. So, PJ
Niners
Walker.
The Niners just missed that field goal to win the game.
All right, so Greg, hey, Bryce Young, 23 for 38, 217 yards. A touchdown. No, you know what? No turnovers today.
Yeah, Bryce. I was saying it when we were watching the game. I came in about halftime. He was looking really good in the first half, and I mean, he had a pretty decent game. It's like I said, he's not a terrible quarterback. He definitely needs a lot of help around him. I mean, he had some things that he missed here and there, but he's a rookie and quarterback, and I understand that. But he definitely needs some help around him, and I just feel like we're not in the position that we're going to be able to give it to him. That's not an unreasonable take, is because I tweeted this out during the game, is that with protection, Bryce can spin. But the question is, are you ever going to have the level of protection that is necessary? I know Carolina will never have it. And if you think we're going to have it, then gosh, you haven't been a Panther fan for very long, because we don't we're not destined to have a good offensive line ever, dude. Don't worry. That's just not part of our a part of our fate
identity,
out there.
Our identity is certainly not to have a good offensive line.
Yeah, but no, it's like Bryce did some good things, but I tell you this is that the deep ball is just not there.
It's non-existent.
And it's not a matter of being able to physically get it down there. That's not the thing and I almost start to wonder, not almost, is you hate to say it because look, people are going to be like, oh, you can't come in here and talk junk about Bryce in the best game. He played really well. And he was also just getting destroyed a lot of times with no protection. Yeah. I mean, and then when you're in clear passing situations, like that's why we have to run the ball up the middle. That's why we have to do it, is to keep these guys from just pinning their ears back and coming after them. Because once we're down 3 touchdowns or whatever, and we got to get in these long passing situations, the Dolphins we're doing all these stunts and all this, people running around circles around the line. And there's no,
Did you want to hear from Bryce, or you want to he's at the podium if you want.
Yeah, bring it up, and then I'll say this, and is that the size though? I think does he have trouble seeing downfield sometimes?
Trying to find things to continue to improve on, things that we've had. We gotta expand on it. We gotta keep building on the positives, and then obviously a lot to clean up. So, game just ended not too long ago, so it doesn't feel great, of course. But again, I love being part of this team, love this group, and we're going to grow from it.
Bryce, the quick start, you jump up 14-0. What happened after that, and how good were you feeling at 14-0?
It was early. It was a good start, but obviously, you're not going to win a game in the first quarter, in the first couple of drives. So we have to do a lot better job of sustaining and building off of that. Some good things there, and then obviously didn't have the success after that. And first and foremost, that falls on me. I have to do a better job of executing, making sure that we all execute as a unit, and then just again us as a unit, us as a team. We all look in the mirror. We all have to improve. So good start's good. It's good to jump out to an early lead. But the scoreboard. We see what the scoreboard finished with, so that's not a consolation prize. We have to be able to sustain it. I think it shows we're capable of, and there's positive there, and we have to find a way to keep building on that, keep improving, and then cut out the bad that came.
Understanding it's not a consolation prize, but from that, when you're up 14-0, some of the things you guys are doing offensively, does that give you a glimpse at what this offense and what this team can be?
I think it definitely does, but we don't get to that point just because it happened for a quarter. We have to earn the right to make it consistent. We have to earn the right to make sure that that's not a it's not a flash. It's not a good couple of series. You have to earn the right to make that be who we are, make that be our identity, and that comes with work. I definitely have confidence in us that that's where we're going to get to. But it's a process. It's a journey. A lot of things that I want to improve on. We all take that ownership. We all look in the mirror. So again, there's stuff to build off of, but we're not simply going to be able to do it because it happened. Again, we have to be intentional about how we work and put the effort in, the work in to continue to build off of it.
As Frank said, 6 games, you've got a good sample size. What kind of opportunity is this bye to look back at what's right and what's not?
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity. Obviously with a bye week, you get a chance to do a little extended self-scout, be able to look in. Just like
bro, we've been self-scouting you all season. We got you.
Build off of and things I have to improve on. And I think it's just a good opportunity. Obviously you're still looking forward to your next opponent, but it's a good opportunity to look inward and grow and work on the details, and for us to focus on ourselves for the week and for a couple of days of work. So, I think it's, obviously it's really important for us to have urgency this bye week to make sure that we use it and we take advantage of it, and that we attack it so that we can grow and be better for next game.
All right, let's go ahead and we'll jump back into the show. If you guys want to pull something else into it here, we'll go back to it.
I have a ton.
I don't really just want to hear about him and Tua that much. Look, I think that for me is that we saw a couple of people talk about, you mentioned it, is the struggle in connecting with the deep ball, right? It's just not been there. And there is some of the cases of, this lack of separation. But even when he throws it, it's just so many times just so far not like it's like it doesn't really have a chance. That's one case. I think somebody said in the chat is when the pressure's in his face, he can't see. And I think that's where the size is really becoming problematic or is showing itself, is that if it would be like if I think we were playing basketball with like basketball players and you were good at shooting the hoop and stuff, and they were just happened to be, it's just so crowded when you're down low. And when the pocket gets real close and tight, I think it's just harder for him to see downfield. Mm-hmm. And I think he's kind of hoping it's there.
Right.
I mean, look, is with a great offense, with a good offensive protection, with time and opportunity, we see he can make the throws. He can play with anticipation. He can play with accuracy. There are some times where I think that, and maybe Cody, when you do the film review this week, when he drift back into his drop a little bit, like he just seems to keep drifting backwards because the fear of all these guys coming at him. But I don't want to sit here and make this a dump on Bryce or make this a Bryce problem show at all, because Bryce didn't have any turnovers today. He came out, he marched us down the field, or we had 2 good drives to start. And at the end of the day is I don't think this was the offense had a complete and was just spineless like it had been in past games. The problem is you ran into arguably the 3rd best team in the NFL today. Yeah. And you might say, hey, Buffalo beat Miami, but look, it's San Francisco to me, even though they just lost. It's Philadelphia and Miami. Those are my top 3 teams. And you cannot argue that the Miami offense, they've done this to every single team except for Buffalo.
Yeah. I think they were showing a record. They're like 5th, I think, for most points scored in the first 5 weeks in the league, like ever in history. Or yards, I think it was, not points.
Or they might be the most with all yards. I mean, these guys are out there doing it every which way. That Mike Daniels or McDaniels guy is amazing. So look, is the Panthers this was the thing, is today shouldn't have been the day that we were claiming victory on this podcast. It should have been one of the other 5 games, but now the Panthers are 0-6, and we want to hear your thoughts about it. The number's 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. Don't forget the C3 Panthers postgame show is brought to you by Caldera Labs. Caldera Labs is a men's skincare product. It's a twice-a-day regimen, and under 15 minutes, like the Panthers, you could be wonderful. You can look wonderful like the Panthers did. Man, you can feel great like the Panthers did. And there would be a little rejuvenation in your step, in your face, if you use Caldera Lab products. Man, I've been using these products. I've been very happy with them. All you got to do is this. 1 pump, wash your face. Beautiful. You can feel it already. Cleansing everything out. Then you put this nice little lotion on. Boy, no dry skin. All of a sudden, man, after 6 weeks, you're already looking younger. Wrinkles are fading away. It's helped me. Even see my wife in there skipping some of that lotion at nighttime, or maybe some of that nighttime serum. Guys, CalderaLab.com/C3 gets you 20% off your first purchase. Help us out as we continue to grow and continue to court these sponsors. And I'm telling you this, I would not speak to it beyond the required read if I didn't like the product, right? So me talking about how it's helped myself and clean these blackheads out, me throwing my wife under the bus saying I saw her put that serum under there, over there. She's like, right? I said, that's for men. She said, man, it's just skin. It's just skin. I said, well, you know what? Stop using my product. Stop using my product. So CalderaLab.com/C3. Let's continue to go. The number's 252-228-5098. Go ahead, Cody.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that there were, at one point in time, 41 unanswered points, like the Carolina Panthers are the definition of ineptitude right now. And see, this is what we're really going to have to start to really come to accept and come to terms with. The Panthers are, in my opinion, looking like they're going to be the third team in NFL history to not win a single game during the season.
And
like,
the first one to lose 17.
Yeah, the first one to thank you. The first one to lose 17, and by the way, doesn't even have their first round pick to show for it. I'm sorry, dude. David Tepper has to fire someone, and it needs to be Fitterer. And from now on, I'm not gonna let it go another show, every single show, whether it be the postgame show, Tuesday show, Friday free for all, every single show, I will be saying fire Fitterer. We have the worst roster depth in the NFL. We have the least turnaround on draft picks in the NFL. It's bullshit, man. It's absolutely bullshit. And Matt Rule being here for the time he was is no longer an excuse for Fitterer to continue to fill this team with terrible football players. It's absolutely embarrassing, man. And I mean, I'm looking up and down the rest of the schedule. You can't name me one game that's like truly winnable. Maybe if Justin Fields got hurt today, maybe if he's not available for the Bears whenever we play them, maybe that could be winnable for the Carolina Panthers. But it's the worst team in the NFL. And if someone's head doesn't roll, it's bullshit.
I want to address just two comments before we get the super chat and get the calls. KG73 says, and that's my boy Kev, he said, nah, this team will win a few. And Heels fan 1981, we are not going to go 0-17. Dude, chill out. My question actually, honestly, to them, is call in at 252-228-5098 and tell us why, other than just that the odds in the past of teams not going winless are the only, it's like, is the reason you believe that the Panthers aren't going 0-17 just because most teams don't, most teams pull out a win somehow? Because right now I do think Cody is really right. Outside of the Bears, and you know what, the Bears defense came and played pretty damn tough against Commanders. They played, we're really banged up, maybe Justin Fields being hurt at that point. So outside the Bears, is there anybody on the schedule that hasn't played better than the Carolina Panthers consistently throughout the season? I would say Indy has put up a fight against a lot of teams more so than the Carolina Panthers. I think Indy is there. Houston just went out and beat the Saints. They're playing pretty damn tough. Who are the one or two teams that the Carolina Panthers are going to beat? Or are you just going to say, not you, and I'm not trying to call them out specifically, but like at the end of the season when somebody's resting, that you get kind of that.
That's what I was going to say, is like, we might pull out a win. I mean, right now, the justification you can have for us pulling out a win would be that. Like, and I'm not saying that I don't want it to happen, right? And I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying there is nothing that points to us being able to compete with any of these teams, given what we've seen so far.
Get these super
who's the last team we play this year?
Oh, it's probably a division team.
It is. It's the Bucks. Yeah. So, I was going to say we play the Packers third of the last game. I mean, the team like that would be willing to throw a game to not give the Bears.
I don't give a damn who wants to try and call me a bad fan. You cannot convince me that there is a winnable game for the Carolina Panthers in the rest of.
You don't have to be a bad fan. I think is you could say that.
Oh, I know I'm not a bad fan. No, but it won't stop people from calling me one, even though I'm right.
You better get. He's been taking so much up fire lately.
Yeah, everybody's on their bullshit because I'm realistic about this fucking dog shit football team.
We weren't favored in any games to start the season as it was. Right? It's like, I mean, when they did the preseason odds, I don't think the Panthers were favored in a single game, except for maybe in week 1 or something like that. Or I don't even know if that was the case. So it's like, if we weren't favored before the season, I can't see a possible world where Vegas is going to favor us going forward. So that just means it's statistically true, or it's like you're thinking with your head, not your heart. I want to hit these super chats out first. Is Nervosh has hit us twice, I believe.
Well, and we got a brand new member, man.
All right. Well, let's do this one first. CK,
Yep.
we got something. We got some work for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, we have a brand new member of the C3 Superfan Club. We have Porcelain Jesus, who said, you know what? This team is absolute garbage. I'm the king of the trash, and I'm going to be here to take you to the promised land. Porcelain Jesus, welcome to the C3 Superfan Club.
Appreciate you, Porcelain. Next up, our big homie Nirvash says, Tony, put some respect on Chuba's name. That's right. Put some respect on Chuba Hubbard. That was for $10. Nirvash back with the 5. Says, should have traded Brian Burns last year. That would have softened the blow of this bullshit season. 2 first sounds real nice right about
Or anything
now.
right now.
It does.
Talk
and
about
the fact that we didn't pay him, that we're still not paying him, makes it even worse.
Why would you, man? Let's see. Did he even have a sack today?
No,
I mean, I know
we didn't have
he
any
had
sacks.
No
some pressures, but no sacks.
Yeah. So I mean, look,
the Panthers don't have one elite football player. They don't have one. They have some good ones, but we don't have one elite
that's not
football
news
player.
to me. That's not news to me. And look, as it goes for Chuba Hubbard, to me, this was his best game of his career today. Today, Chuba, I was impressed with. Well, first, the offense worked way better with him than it has all season with Miles Sanders or any other running back. I'm glad to see Chuba succeed. I think Chuba finally did something today that makes me say, okay, I'm willing to listen. And that is, for the first time ever, he's run like more than one play, like he's run 4 or 5 plays in a row where he doesn't look like he's falling down or about to fumble. Every time I felt like, even when he was just like, I'm going to get this 7-yard run, and he would just be like out of control. His feet were under him today. He was pushing the pile. He had a great day today. And you know what is that they made something out of nothing early on. But once you had to abandon the running attack, look, the Panthers couldn't fight from behind. This was the fact that the Panthers scored. I think to me, I thought this was a win for us. And the fact is I'm the most positive here. That says something. That's wild. Yeah. Well, I don't know. It was, man, for 15. You know what is, I didn't just want to stop watching.
Right.
Yeah.
For the first time this season, I wasn't like, oh, this is going to be. I mean, I guess I knew we were going to lose. I mean, I just didn't knew that. But to me, I thought I thought there was some fight from the team. Excuse me, guys. I'm recovering from a terrible. I've been down and out for 3 days. I don't think the team quit today. And I think that there's been a lot of reason for them to quit. I think there's been a lot of reason for us to quit on them. Look, I think Frank Reich did a lot of good things today. I thought his play calling was a lot better than it's been all season. I mean, look, this was the team that I wanted to see all season without the injuries. Imagine we have played like this today, and we had played that with the players before they got injured. You know, we're playing with some scrubs out there doing this. So to me, it wasn't all bad. I thought Bryce showed some really nice signs out there, but again, some concerns continue to be there that are going to have to be alleviated only through winning. And I right now don't know how you can continue to go forward without change, like you're saying, Cody. And I don't know when I think it's going to have to be Scott Fitterer. I think that's just the way it's going to be. And then we'll see at the end of the season if it's Frank Reich.
Yeah,
and he's hobbling. You see, look kind of limp out there. I think his hip's bothering him.
Yeah, I did see that. I mean, listen, I'm more hard on Fitterer than I am Frank Reich, because at the end of the day, you have the roster that you have to play with. Like, it's not like they have a lot of better options at offensive line. They don't have a lot of better options at wide receiver. They don't properly have enough players to be able to run a 3-4 defense. So it's like all of these things are compounding on top of each other. You just spent a boatload on the coaching staff. Look, if you want to say give the play calling duties to Thomas Brown, fine. I believe that myself and everyone else in this fan base would love to see that happen right now. But the Carolina Panthers don't know how to draft.
Oh, no, that's the damn truth. That's the damn truth. And I do here, let's go ahead. I bring this back. Let's circle back to this. Because I want to go ahead and get into the calls. The number's 252-228-5098. A lot of people are going to go out there after today, and I already see some of them, and they're saying, see, this is the way you got to build a team around Bryce Young. It's like what the Dolphins did.
Dolphins. Yeah.
Now, look, it's like, of course, that's how I would love to build a team. I would love to build a team where I have 6 of the fastest players in the league all on the same team. I would love to have a head coach that could take bong hits and then somehow inspire people on the sidelines.
Yeah.
I just don't know, though. It just seems to me like it's like, well, yeah, if everything's perfect, then it's going to be great. So look, as I want to come back and see what can we learn from the Dolphins? And look, the Dolphins have not been able to be the most consistent models. They're early season warriors too. We'll see if they can keep this up into late in the season. I don't know if you guys remember last year, but now look, I think they're the real deal. Let's get to the calls, Cody. Let's have some fans take over because I'm running out of gas already.
And by the way, thank you to Josh Dyson with the $4.99. It says, can't fire Fitterer and not Frank. Tepper needs to do this the right way for once. That's a great point. We're always mixing it. I mean,
yeah.
As somebody who just advocated that said Frank doesn't have a lot to work with.
I'm not going to fight on that one.
Yeah, we have never done it right where we get the guys in the right order and in the right way that we're supposed to. But the number is 252-228-5098. Leave a message and let us know what you feel about this dumpster fire football team.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty you shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
What's up, guys? This is Brendan from Maryland. Just watching this game. 35-14 now, 35 unanswered points. It's pretty pathetic. At least Bryce hasn't thrown an interception. I think Bryce is definitely showing improvements every week. We just got to get him a legitimate speed receiver that can actually run a route as opposed to DJ Chark and Mingo just running in circles, basically. Tight ends, as usual, non-existent. Defense cannot stop anything to save their life. And why is it that when we get down to the 30-yard line on 3rd and 1, we run the ball all the way down the field, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, we throw and throw. It's just terrible play calling, as usual, from Frank Reich. We definitely showed improvement, but he needs to go. And I think Bryce is good. I think Bryce is a solid quarterback. Like I said, we get him another deep threat, and he could really shine. All right. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, great call. And I think you bring up a good part of the game where that was the 4th and 1 to Hayden Hurst. I kind of like in some cases, I like the idea is everybody thinks you're trying to get 1 yard. So, you need a touchdown anyway. I almost would have done that vice versa, though. On 3rd down, I would have thrown that. And then in reverse on 4th down, thrown the kind of 3 or 4, there was 3 receivers out there. You could have tried running it twice. I mean, look, I know hindsight's 2020 when it comes to play calling, but I do think that's a fair criticism is that those 2 plays back to back. It's not one of those play calls that's problematic. It's how do they complement each other. And then look, is that the Carolina Panthers, I mean, do you choose to kick a field goal at the end of the second quarter on a 4th and 1? think it was. It was a long one, maybe 4th and 2. Pinheiro misses the kick. I think I was talking to my buddy on Facebook about this, and he's in the chat, KG73s, and I was saying maybe we should have gone for it there. And he said it's the right football move to, is to take the points, pull this in within, I guess. I guess you would have made it what, 21. No, what was it at right at the end of the second quarter?
Oh, it was 20-14 at halftime.
Yeah, so it would have been, I guess, 21-17.
Yeah.
But I just felt like there's no way you're going to win this game with no field goals. Like, I at the end, as Frank Reich's going for it, we're kicking onside kicks. We're going for it 4th and 8 and on our own 8 with 4 minutes left. I mean, you got to do everything at this point to try to win a game. I wasn't terribly upset with the play calling, but I do, as we look at this as those wide receivers, I tell you one thing, is Terrace Marshall Jr., man, he ain't it. He ain't it.
No, he's not. He is not at all, man.
Oh.
And I have no problem admitting I was wrong, man. There are some players I choose to be optimistic on. I thought that he would end up being a good player, but he is unreliable. Every time you throw the ball at him, he's dropping it, or he's running the wrong route, or he's doing some absolute dumb shit, man. And I don't feel sorry for him, bro. It's like you've had opportunities to make plays, and you haven't done it every single time.
Oh, this is a great comment in the chat, and I saw a lot of talk about this. All Stop Blue. He says, Bryce audible to that 4th down play. There was a couple of times. Is Bryce trying?
But remember, Tony, it came out last week that they were simplifying the playbook so that Bryce wouldn't have to do that anymore, and that you wouldn't have to make all these changes at the line of scrimmage, and yet they're still doing it.
Well, it helped, but I think maybe he feels like it's necessary to do it. I don't know. I mean, look, I hope he's going to look. I want him to learn from all of this. Today, this was a victory for me, man. Today, I actually thought the team got better. And I know you're going to say this is like the defense was porous as shit. I expected them to. We're playing like our 7th string cornerbacks and this and that. Like, and look, we're playing the best offense in the fucking history of football almost. Since like the greatest show on turf.
And that's not hyperbole. They're on pace to match or surpass the 2000 Rams.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, this is not just, to me, this was a step forward as a football team to me. I thought that we saw development from Bryce Young. Look, we saw him stand in there and make some big-time throws. We saw him kind of persevere. Look, where there's some missed opportunities, where there's some poor things, sure. Are there still continued question marks about his deep ball, like the ability? I don't know what it is about the deep ball. Why is it? Is it chemistry? Is it confidence? Is it repetition? Is it the height?
Tony, you gave your opinion earlier. You said the height when the pressure.
I think it lends to it. I think it lends to it.
But look, everybody get your torches and pitchforks. I also think it's a little bit of an arm talent thing. If you notice, whenever he misses, the ball tends to sail on him. It sails high above his head. That's because he's not really driving the football. I've said this before we drafted him and even during the film room as he's been a Carolina Panther. I don't love how he never has his back foot firmly planted in the ground when he's throwing the football. He's not getting enough drive and enough power on some of those passes, and I feel like it's causing the ball to sail on him. And
look, he's really great at throwing the 8-yard out.
Oh, dude, that's his best trick.
Yeah. So look, and look, it's not the dump on Bryce. I'm not trying to look. I think today was a positive step forward for him as a rookie and as a quarterback. I thought it was positive for Chuba Hubbard. I think the running game was positive. I think there were some good things from the offensive line that were positive. I thought Franklin played well. I thought Luvu almost killed a guy. That was pretty fun to watch.
Mostert.
Yeah, even though he didn't even Like, you know what? Somehow he hit him so hard, the guy that was beside him got hurt. And I don't know why. He was just like, "Ooh, that hurts so bad. Oh, my hip hurts or something." Mostert didn't bother him, but boy, what a missile.
But Luvu did also go out with another hip injury, and that's the thing he missed a couple of games with before. So, I mean, there is concern there. Again, here's the thing. Like, this game was only going to go one way. Like, I know we were optimistic when we saw that 14-0, 14-point lead at the end of the first quarter, but, like, it's just the reality of what we're dealing with right now. We have a team that isn't it's just not loaded with the talent that we were hoping it was, right? When your number one wide receiver is a guy that everybody was writing off, and like when they do film review, they like joke about how slow he is, that should tell you something. It's not that Bryce is force feeding, like the people are saying he's force feeding Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen legitimately is the only person getting open in a lot of these routes.
I think Adam Thielen's playing it just, he's doing what I expected him to do,
right?
Is to be Ricky Prohl. You know what? But he's better than what Ricky Prohl was. He was for the Carolina Panthers. Right. Imagine if you actually had a team, like a good receiver, but he would be great on a team that had another receiver beside him. He would be an awesome number 2. You know?
I don't disagree. And here's the thing is like a lot of people are going to point to, this is not a Bryce Young. Like the thing that you've got to look at and you've got to be excited about is Bryce Young has gotten better throughout the season. He hasn't regressed. Like that's what you're wanting from a quarterback, is to make sure they're getting better and better. Bryce Young has done that. He hasn't come out here and continued to look exactly the same. And people might argue that not having any touchdowns, that's not all on Bryce Young. You've got to, again, this isn't a make excuses for Bryce Young. This offense as a whole, this entire team is questionable.
This was his best game as a pro today.
Yeah, it was his best game as a pro, but it also wasn't like some standout game either, where it was like, oh, whoa, this is a great game from Bryce. It wasn't. Is
that what do you need that, Cody?
This is fair. To me, this is fair, and then I'm gonna let Bat Daddy say his thing. To me, he has gotten incrementally better week after week. And yes, it's progress. That's what you want to hope for, like what CK is saying. But there are literally plays every game where Bryce is leaving points on the field. And I feel like there were 2 of those times today in big time moments. No, I'm not calling Bryce a bust, but I'm being real. He has not yet had that game that was like, wow. If you were a Bryce Young doubter, he has not yet had a game that would make you go, okay, maybe I need to pump the brakes a little bit on Bryce. I think that's being fair.
Yeah. It's weird when I hear people say that this was his best game. It's hard for me to compare that because, like, I mean, last week he had 3 touchdowns and and more yards. I mean, he did have 2
interceptions and a fumble. That was like that was today. He didn't make any horrible mistakes, and he didn't. No turnovers.
No turnovers.
In garbage,
more yards. Made some made some real cool throws. Like I thought he made some tough throws. He fit a couple of balls. I think the thing that's bothered me about Bryce, not bothered me, that's right, is troubled me, I would say, is that as that pocket gets crowded, it's like me trying to play hoops with people who are just so much taller. You know, when you're like a parent and you're playing, when you're a parent and you're playing with kids and you just get to it's just hard for them to see, even if they're fast and nimble. But the other thing that has kind of irritated me or disappointed me, concerned me, is those moments where he does break out of the pocket and you're like, yes, he got out of there. Let's see what's going to happen. And he's looking downfield, and like all of a sudden these people are closing on him so quickly, and where he thinks he's got time, and all of a sudden you're just like, oh man, these guys are all over my ass, and he's sacked or whatever. I don't know. Is this season? Look, we drafted Bryce Young, not we. I mean, the team did. He's our quarterback going forward, and we're going to want to see at least this today from last week.
Well, yes, and here's the thing: to Cody's point, and I want to make this clear. I'm not I'm defending what we've seen from Bryce up to this point. Bryce hasn't been a difference maker, right? Him being on the field hasn't made the difference.
That I think is what Cody is. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. To his point, he hasn't been the reason that we've won. He's not the reason we've lost in many of the games,
right?
But he isn't the reason we've won, obviously, because we haven't won, right? Like he hasn't been something where like, oh, we lost in spite of a really good performance by Bryce Young, right? Like if we had a really good defense and like a run game that was constantly like running people over, Bryce Young and this team would be winning some games, right? We don't, and Bryce Young hasn't been able to be the difference, and so that's a concern when you're trading up for a guy like Bryce Young. If he's not going to win the games, if the team isn't living up to the their end of the bargain, like that, is it worth trading for the number one pick like we did? And so far, it doesn't look that way.
Do y'all know how insufferable it's going to be after the Panthers play and lose to the Texans? Like that was the team that was the de facto number one pick all of last year, and they had the quarterback that we could have had. It's like it's just going to continue to pile on. And then when the Bears do what they do, and if they do beat us, they're going to be looking to make sure that we have the number one pick in the draft for them. Ooh. So, dude, it hasn't even gotten as bad as it's going to get.
I wonder if Bryce Young can even reverse this sentiment this season. I wonder if it's even possible, and because of the team around him too. You know, it's like, even if he had that game where he's just like, you know, are even the parts there for him to have that type of game? What type of game would it take for him to go, oh gosh, this guy is wheeling and dealing? I think some of it is he's got to just get on a roll, man. I think this whole team has got to get on a roll a little bit, and they got to get out of the mud and out of the quicksand. But I don't know if they have the ability to do it either.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Go ahead, Greg, and then we'll take another call.
No, you can go ahead and take the call. It's fine.
Right. Here we go.
How y'all doing? It's Rude Life Master. You know, so I am myself the Rude Life Master show on YouTube.
What's up, Rude?
Hit me up and talk to me about the Panther football. But that's not why I called, just a shameless plug. Yeah. How y'all feeling today? Panthers Nation, C3 Panthers podcast. We about to go 0-17.
I just said that, Rude. I just said that, bro.
I'll tell you this. I can't wait for the Panthers to lose, just so I can come and watch this podcast and come on to the C3 Panthers free for all to see y'all argue, to see y'all get mad. This is what y'all gonna say. Bryce Young needs to sit down. Fire Scott Fitterer. David Tepper, he doesn't know football. Oh, we suck. Oh, this is ass. Oh, this is trash. You know what? You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. We are trash. But you gotta love it now. Because if we weren't this trash, y'all wouldn't have anything to talk about on the podcast. So this is what I'm here for now. This is my highlight of the season. For us to lose and for y'all to talk about it. And for the fans to get mad. Especially Panther Pickle. I know he about to get mad. He about to be picked off, bro. And G baby, you told me Bryce Young was the future. That's what you told me, G baby. Yeah. Okay. Y'all have a good day. Keep pounding into the ground.
I wonder if we're gonna. First, that's a good call.
Shout out to Rude, man.
We're gonna be here through all of that. I wonder. I think I might have had the COVID, guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm not entirely sure, but for
the Rona,
maybe. Somebody I know had. Anyway, I was third. I was just chills and sweat. So maybe I like today so much because I'm like finally on my feet after 3 days of not doing anything.
Right.
I guess because I feel like I'm the most optimistic out of all. Like to me, I don't know. Like today was a good day for me, even for the Carolina Panthers. And I know we're 0-6. I wonder if we're going to start, though, and I know this has already begun on Twitter, Cody, is the kind of factioning or
Panther fans.
Right. Like it's like I wonder if the podcasts are going to move into this, like
everyone has their lane
through this 0-17 struggle is like the one where it's like, you guys told me Bryce was the guy. And then, the other people like, you guys are being too hard up. I think it's already there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say this is that the question marks around Bryce Young have they lessened? Let me ask you that. CK, we'll start with you. Have the question marks around Bryce Young from weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, have they lessened?
I don't think the question marks have lessened. I think the narratives that people have built already in place with regard to Bryce Young and his performances have been more cemented. So I don't think the questions have been. I don't think the question's still there in many people's minds. In my mind, I think the questions are always, until we see something different, the question is going to be, is this going to be a better team? If we get a better team around Bryce Young, is this going to be when we see a change? And I was talking about it in the man cave. Tua had a lot of the same questions Bryce did coming in. And it wasn't until they built a monster team around him that you started to see him perform at a ridiculously high level. Now look at him. Now, am I saying that Tua and Bryce are the same player? No, but I'm saying that seeing the trajectory Tua had with his career early on should bring some optimism to you as a Panthers fan about what Bryce Young has the ability to be able to do.
The disheartening part of that, yeah, it is fair. The disheartening part of that is you didn't trade up. It's the number one. Sure. When you say difference maker, that struck a chord with me earlier. It's because right now I've turned it to, I just want to see Bryce get better. Right. And I want to build around him. I mean, because I guess you have no choice at this point. But when you do put in that ticket for the number one pick, you have I think you're saying you believe that player to be head and shoulders above the others.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know that was a low zing there, but now we're getting into where I think this is, that honeymoon period, that grace period. When does that fully wear off, even for the best supporters of Bryce, to where they go from him being generational talent? When does the guy who said the truth, the generational talent, become, oh, he can be a really good player in this league?
I mean, I don't see any sign of that happening anytime soon, because if you're a Bryce Young super defender, he can do no wrong. Anytime he throws an interception, it's on someone else. Anytime he misses a deep ball or he had pressure in his face, it's always someone else's problem when Bryce isn't performing up to the level of expectation of a number one overall pick. And that's fair to say. I mean, as a Panther, look, over here at C3, we don't tell anyone how to be a fan. If I'm describing you and you're a firm believer that Bryce has gotten better and better, he's proven himself thus far, and we just need more talent around him, fine, you're allowed to believe that. But me and the Bat Daddy and a bunch of other people are also allowed to look at this player and say, I don't know if that's necessarily the talent indicative of a number one overall pick and the player that you would give up DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey to go and get. That's why I said earlier, Bryce can still be good, but to this point, Bryce has not done anything to make any of his original detractors come around and say, oh, okay, I need to take a step back. He's showing me more arm talent. He's showing me more ability inside and outside of the pocket. It's not happening for him yet. I hope it does. But as of right now, it hasn't happened, and I don't think that we're going to see that happen at any time this year.
Oh, yeah, I agree. All right, let's go then.
I just put up, real quick, I just put up a poll in the chat, and I kind of want to get y'all's opinion on this right now. If you could get any player you wanted to right now that was an elite player, what position right now would you get to help Bryce Young out the most? A tackle or a guard, wide receiver, tight end, or running back?
Just one, Greg.
Yep, you can only get one.
You're a kid. Your parent took you to the store, and you only get one toy. You're
That's right,
like,
we said one
Mom,
before we walk in the door. That's right.
just one before the door. All right. Well, you guys
Right.
think about it. Let's go to the next call.
Yo, what up, C3? Happy Sunday. TJ from G Vegas. Calling in 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Bryce just got sacked again. My brother-in-law texted me before the game. I told him it was going to be 70-17. And then when we scored 14 unanswered, that was pretty nice. And he said, you sure about that? And I told him, just the defense always lays down. Don't worry. I did not expect us to run the ball as well as we did in the first half. Who did? That was a bright spot. I think the offensive line played better than it has all season today, and still couldn't get anything going once they figured us out. Still have not seen one good deep ball from Bryce all season. So you can say what you want. Every deep ball he's thrown to the sideline has been just about at least 95% of them been out of bounds and uncatchable. So still trying to see that, prove it can actually be done. The one to Chark on the left side, uncatchable out of bounds.
That one was weird looking.
And then the one on 4th and 1 to the end zone to Hurst. First off, I think that was stupid taking a shot to the end zone on 4th and 1 when you're still in the game. But yeah, 5-7 yards downfield, too deep. Just like pretty much every other one I've seen this season. So, yeah, I guess you could say he played better for 2 drives. Outside of that, I'm still not seeing what we need to see as far as big plays from him.
2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
Doctors take Field of Greens for their own health. Here's Dr. Ryan Green to explain.
We're like you, too much fast food and not enough exercise. That's why I take Field of Greens. The fruits and vegetables in Field of Greens support my heart, lungs, kidneys, and metabolism for weight loss. And Field of Greens promises your doctor will notice your improved health or your money back.
Get 15% off with promo code HEALTH at fieldofgreens.com. That's promo code HEALTH at fieldofgreens.com. Product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
But anyway, it is what it is. Keep pounding, y'all. Have a great week. Peace.
Keep pounding.
Can we bring up that we had a pick six in this game and we haven't even mentioned it yet? Like that's how unexcited that pick six
against
is
Mike
for us.
White. I'm not even.
A garbage time pick six against a backup quarterback. How about this? We haven't even mentioned this. The painful absence of Jeremy Chin. Like, hey, here's something that everybody needs to realize. The Carolina Panthers have given up on him. They have given up on him.
How do you mean
Tony,
that?
you can fight me if you want. His snaps continue to go down. But who was the guy that had the pick six?
Troy Hill.
Greg? Troy Hill. Yeah, it genuinely feels that they trust Troy Hill more than they do Jeremy Chin. And we already started to hear rumors that there's probably getting ready to be a fire sale and that the Philadelphia Eagles are interested in trading for Jeremy Chin. And if you're a fan right now, even if you love Jeremy, you should want that. You should want more draft capital for a player that they don't even want to use. And in his 4th year in the NFL, We don't even know what position he plays.
What do you mean we're giving up
They
on
don't
him?
trust him in coverage. They don't trust him at the line. They don't
19
trust
snaps
him
last week.
anywhere.
What do
Played
you
19
mean
snaps.
we're giving up on him? His snap count has gone down week after week after week. And then today, when he wasn't in the game at all, the first play I see him on is, hey, go guard Waddle.
Yeah, dude,
And he
they're
just
like,
has interference in the end
dude,
zone.
it's so
He got
not
the pass
subtle.
interference. I was like, damn, what did he do to these people, man?
Dude,
What did
it's
he
so
do to
not
them?
subtle. Yeah, they need to trade him. And by the way, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. There is not a player on this team that I'm upset to see traded.
I
Not
think
a single
I watched a little bit of the Florida State game yesterday. I guess I want to make sure. I hope was it Benson that was the guy that was running yesterday. Trey Benson. I think that's him. I want to make sure I don't get away because there's so many players on the football team. I hope that this is the guy that we draft because his thighs, I want to see him juxtaposed beside Bryce Young. I would feel like if you put this guy beside Bryce Young, and they had him lined up to the side, you look down the line, you wouldn't be able to see Bryce. His thighs, he had this little waist and this little top side, and these freaking tree trunk legs, dude. Oh my god!
You got the AJ Dillon body.
Yes, it was insane, dude. All right, let's go.
Just super quick because it's short. Eric with the $2 says, "Give us all them picks." I agree with you, Eric.
Yeah, there's no reason to keep anybody on this team right now. And I think and I guess we saw that Brian Burns didn't play hardball enough with this team because to be honest, and look, as I'd love to have his brother come on the show. I'd love to have Brian Burns come on the show. And I hope that anybody that is a person that's going to make a bazillion times more dollars than I make has a thick enough skin to hear this. But right now, I don't even really care about having him on the team.
Yeah.
I mean,
he had 0 sacks today. The same as the number on his chest.
Even when he got close to the pressure the one time, it's like I thought, man, bull rush that dude.
And by the way, Tony, let me do a little plug for the C3 Film Room that goes live every Thursday where we break down the all 22 film. Don't believe us. We show you on film all of the near misses that Brian Burns has, all the times that the tight end will block him out of a play, or all the times that a backup left tackle will push him out of the run game. It's just like he's a good player, but he's not a great player. And that's why I'm so jaded, Tony, because just a little while ago, I was one of the loudest people beating the drum.
Yeah, you guys were trying to tell me I was dumb for just calling him a very good player, not a great player.
Hey, but look, this is why I'm so jaded, man. I don't feel the need to be optimistic about any player on this team because every time I do, I just end up getting burnt for it. I don't feel like being optimistic about Mingo. I don't feel like being optimistic about Bryce. Every time I do, it just ends up, it goes in the tank, man. And Brian Burns, for a player who wants $30-some-odd billion, yeah, sorry, dog. I ain't seen that kind of play, bro.
This is a great super chat. And you know what? I wonder if this is true. Man, great. Greg, this is our poll. We got a new poll. Is Bryce, who's more controversial, Cam Newton or Bryce Young?
Ooh, okay. I'll start that up, yeah.
Josh Dyson, thank you. $4.99 super chat. He said, I never thought we'd see a more controversial player on the Panthers than Cam. Enter Bryce Young. I agree 100%. And the only reason I'm not going to say that Bryce Young is more controversial, I think the reason Cam to me holds that title is it was so clear Cam was really good. And there were people who were like, fuck no, he's not. Like in this case, I do think there's like legitimate sides to this coin.
Yeah.
I thought that with Cam people, sometimes it was just like a refusal, like him, period. Let's go to the next call.
Panther Nation, how y'all doing? It's G. Cavassier. Hey, man, this shit is a fucking embarrassment. It is. It's a complete embarrassment. Our coaching staff fucking sucks. I was really hyped this year, too. I was really hyped with all these damn people. All these big names or whatever. Our coaching staff fucking sucks. You got to be 0-6, y'all. And next week is a bye. Thank God, man. I really thought we was going to beat Miami. I was one of those fans that was just saying to myself, this is a trap game. We can pull this shit out. We got beat by over 21. We got beat 20. Oh, but shit, the game's still going on. We down by 21. Bryce been sacked 4 fucking times. I just don't fucking get it, y'all. Something got to damn fucking change, man. And fire fucking Frank. Fire the GM. We just need help, y'all. Give me your thoughts on that, y'all. I mean, keep y'all heads up and everything because we diehard Panther fans. Keep pounding, y'all.
Hey, there's some good news with this bye week coming up. We might be the first team in history to actually lose a game in the bye week.
Yeah. They made us give us an honorary loss.
And just go ahead and just tack a half a loss onto our record here.
Can I share some stats real quick about how like terrible this team really is in comparison to other things? Like just in this game alone, right? Like you would think they killed us based on the score. They had 2 more first downs than us. They had 23. We had 21. They only converted the ball 2 more times than we did. They had 7. We had 5. We were 0 for 4 on 4th down. That's what killed us. We had 4 sacks. They had none. That's what killed us. But we had the same penalties for less yards. We had 1 interception that scored a touchdown for us. The time of possession was the exact same, 30-44 to 29-16.
I think
the exact
big
same.
plays, Greg. I think.
And did we really not
that's
have?
what I'm saying.
And Greg, did we really not have 1 sack today? We didn't have even one.
We didn't have 1 sack. But that's what I'm saying. You see that they had almost the same opportunities we did, almost down the line exactly the whole game. We actually scored a touchdown off a turnover, which they didn't. And you see how much better their offense performed with the same amount of plays,
super
the same amount of first downs.
Dude.
You know, like
it's not fair. That is Tyreek. He's got a cheat code, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a cheat code. He is a cheat code. You saw him go and do that flip with that is his social media camera guy, by the way. I'm pretty sure I saw a special on him a couple of weeks ago. This kid said sent Tyreek a DM or on Instagram, and he said, look, I want to make you a video for free. I'm a videographer and I just want to shoot you for like a school basically just said for my own stuff for free. And Tyreek said, well, come on and do it tomorrow. And he liked what he did. And now he's like his personal videographer dude that just goes around with him and follows him all the time and makes all these videos and puts all these like TikToks out for him and things like this. And so that when he ran up and grabbed that dude's phone and then did the backflip and that was his own guy. So, I mean, that was pretty neat.
Feeling.
Yeah. So, all right, let's go to the next call.
Hey, what's going on, Panther C3 fam? This is Alex, A14 Panthers.
What about
tough game, but you know what? I'm gonna excuse me. Gonna be putting in some of the positives about this game. I like how we were running the football. Kind of went away from that. I wish I know we went down in the game, but it would have been nice to keep just running the football. Our offensive line is built just to run it down people's throats. Doesn't look built to sustain in the pass game for Bryce Young, but it also the receivers got to get open as well. Defense early looks good. Tough game. I mean, Miami's they have an incredible offense, number 1 offense in the NFL, so it's hard to sometimes get those stops. But all in all, I thought it was a really, really good game. You could see that the team hasn't given up, even though that they're 0-6. And, I see a bright future. So, keep pounding, fellas.
Man after Tony's heart right here.
Well, because of today? Because I'm the only one that sees a bright future.
No, I agree with him. I think that I think we saw somebody actually in our watch along said if we were to start trading away pieces, how much worse could this team get? And I said, like, well, We did that last year with Christian McCaffrey, and we turned out to actually get better. I think what we saw with this secondary, even though they got lit up, is you're seeing some guys who are fighting, right? You know, Sam Franklin might turn into something, right? I'm not saying he's the guy or anything like that, but like the dude came out here and he played when there was nothing left to play for. This dude was still out there making hits, making plays. And so some of these younger players got an opportunity to actually come out here and show what they were able to do. And I think that's that's a positive because, and if we start trading away players, I think some of these younger people are going to get a shot to try to develop some of these people that we drafted that haven't even seen the field yet. Like you're going to give them an opportunity to be out there and actually do something. So I think there's a potential this team even continues to get better if we do end up becoming a seller at the deadline.
Cody, when people start coming after you for whatever you say this week about whatever person or whatever, particularly about Bryce, you should and they're like, you need to give him whatever grace he needs. You need to take the old Smitty route, who is unapologetic about calling Jerry Jeudy just another guy. I would play it, but it'd probably get us demonetized. But
I didn't play it on the free for all.
He said, I'll say it again. I'm sorry that I said you were just a guy who's an average wide receiver that used a first round pick on and isn't doing anything. I hope today that you can actually show up in a way you haven't showed up in the last couple of years since they drafted you. So if you've ever got a problem with Agent 89, I'm sorry for saying that you're an average wide receiver that eventually will move on. And when teams call me asking, should they trade for you? I will say, no, don't trade for Jerry Jeudy because he's mentally unable to handle constructive criticism from people who watch specifically whether he can be a wide receiver. Man, he called him a tier 3. Steve Smith, this goes to Kev. Man, I don't know if it was Cam's ego that prevented Steve Smith from retiring to Panther at that moment. It might have been Steve Smith's ego.
Yeah. And by the way, love Steve, all-time Panther great. I found it corny, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I found it corny. I found it wildly corny.
What did Jeudy do? What did Jeudy do that
he basically told him he doesn't fuck with Steve Smith?
Yeah. Here's my deal. Right? He's entitled to have his opinion. That's fine. He's an all-time Panther great. Nobody will ever take that away from him. But Jerry Jeudy has also been on one of the worst offenses in the NFL since the time that he joined the NFL. He has Russell Wilson as a quarterback. He damn near has a brand new head coach every year. More importantly,
he's putting up pretty good numbers too.
More importantly, we see how a change of scenery can be good for DJ Moore. Why couldn't it have been good for Jerry Jeudy? And then, more importantly, this is a young man who's trying to get his second contract, trying to better himself. Why are you going to go live on air and say, oh, I would tell everybody not to sign you because you're not worth it? I'm sorry, man. It was cornball to me.
Oh, well, he was saying because you got upset that I said something about you. So, like, you should just be able to suck it up and move on. But, okay. Well, I guess my point of bringing that up is that Bryce is going to have to be able to take that type of criticism because it comes with the number 1 overall pick, though. That's what it comes with. And I hope if that Bryce Young doesn't work out for the Panthers, I hope this doesn't make us gun shy in the future if we ever get the opportunity at number 1 again. I hope this doesn't make us scared because we made the wrong pick. Sometimes, I feel like other teams have just said, you know what, we'll just pick that defensive guy. Nobody can tell us we were wrong if we just get Aiden Hutchinson instead of picking a quarterback.
Right.
Is that you got to risk it for the biscuit sometimes. And we risked it. We don't know if we got the biscuit yet. But here is, and it looks like there are some things that maybe this wasn't as clear cut as a number 1 pick overall as we had hoped. But I don't want this to make it just because what is it? It's better to have loved than never loved at all.
Better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all.
There we go. That's what I was going for. Let's go to the next call.
What is up, C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte. Hope y'all boys are having a good Sunday. I know we just lost, but this call mainly isn't about the Panthers. It's about my motherfucking dog, Cody.
Yes, sir.
That dude is an awesome human being.
Appreciate you, brother.
He's just a great person, man. I had the pleasure to meet him today. We had a great time, spent hours together watching the Panthers, suck ass. But, hey, man, it was awesome, man. He's a great person, and I'm so happy I can call him one of my brothers.
Appreciate you, bro.
Great time, and we will for sure be seeing each other again in the future. On to the Panthers now. I think it's pretty evident that Bryce Young is playing better every single game. I know his stats aren't impressive, but, man, when you really watch the game, obviously he's going to have some missed throws. I think he needs to work on his deep ball accuracy for sure. It seems like he keeps overthrowing people, which is weird because you would think that he'd be underthrowing a lot of people. This team just isn't good. I mean, the offense really put us in a position early, and then the defense just gave up. Brian Burns, Derek Brown, I haven't been hearing your guys' names at all, man. Like, I think we should have a fire sale. I really do. I mean, I think we should trade some pieces for offensive weapons. Listen, Adam Thielen is a great player, and he's proven he's still got the juice. He catches everything, and he gets open a good bit. But we need another guy besides him. He can't be the only guy that's doing all the work on the field. We need to get a real number one wide receiver that can take the top off the defense. So there's that. The offensive line is fucking terrible. Like, I know Cody can attest to this. We were sitting right there. Dude, there were so many plays where Bryce would get the snap, and then, 1 second, there'd be guys already in the backfield. I mean, listen, I know Miami's a good team, but we just have a lot to work through, man. Yeah, I think it is time to tear this down. I mean, it really is. We need draft picks, and we need to rebuild and see what we truly have in this kid. Because I think he's he's getting better each game and showing us why he was drafted number one. I mean, he's really given a pile of shit. It's no question that this roster is by far the worst in the league. We still can't stop the run. And, Frank Reich, I thought his play calling was okay. There were some questionable, play calls, but it also seemed like they play with no urgency in the second half, like they just wanted to give up. Miles Sanders, your Bank of America card does not need to be activated anymore. I hope you never step foot in our stadium again. Everyone had been saying that Chuba Hubbard.
Oh, did it
cut him off?
Hold on, part 2.
Hey, this is a part 2. I got cut off. It's Anthony from Charlotte. But yeah, Miles Sanders, you don't need to be on the team anymore. Let's keep it real, guys. He doesn't need to be on the team. Chuba Hubbard with 18 carries got 85 yards. That's 4.7 yards a carry. That's pretty damn good. Yeah, listen, man, I don't know where we go from here. I think changes need to be made. If there's one guy that has to go, it's got to be Scott Fitter, because the way he assembled this roster was absolutely terrible. And the fact that we fell for it, it's just crazy to me, man. Listen, I'm just not seeing enough from our impact players. I'm not seeing Brian Burns getting sacked. I mean, he got a couple pressures in the red zone, but, man, he's just not being a force. And to mind you, we're going to see this on the All-22. He was playing against a backup left tackle. He wasn't even going up against Teron Armstead. He was injured. Dante Jackson, yeah, you're a guy that you do not need to be on the team anymore. Him and Jeremy Chin just aren't good players, and now I can see why they want to trade him. Ferris Marshall, you dropped that wide open pass. Man, we need to give our quarterback some help, man. I mean, listen, I will still stand by the fact that Bryce is probably one, if not the only real building block we have here. I mean, there's a couple good players, but this roster is just very, very bad. That's mixed out with a rookie quarterback who's playing a defense that blitzes a shit ton. I mean, man, I know we were harping on him in the beginning of the year, but to me, listen, he's shown improvement. He hasn't played like Cam Newton his rookie season. He hasn't played like Andrew Luck his rookie season, but those guys at least have decent talent around them. And I think the biggest culprit is, this roster that's been built. It's just not it. It seems like these players are getting like pissed off and tired. And listen, I don't blame them, man. I mean, listen, I think we need to make some trades. I really do. It's just time to tear it down. This isn't working. This roster is not good enough to even win a game, apparently. So, yeah, it's just time, man. It's time. And, I mean, you can't get pressure on Tua in your soft zone. He's going to pick you apart with the two fastest receivers in the league. It's just time to tear it down. But I had a great time today. Anthony from Charlotte, keep motherfucking pounding, boys.
Hey, my boy, keep pounding, Anthony.
Anthony from Charlotte calling on Scott Fitterer to clean things up. And I tell you, if you want to clean up important things like your nether regions or your ball sack or your man parts or whatever you want to call them, I suggest using the wonderful products from Manscaped. Manscaped is the #1 men's grooming line, and you can get the Lawnmower 4.0. There's a new model coming out. I'll tell you more details as we get further into the month. But the Beard Hedger, the Lawnmower 4.0, the nose and ear trimmer that Cody lives and swears by.
I have to get that jungle out of my nose, man. I have to.
I tell you, as I was sweating and chills all week, for like 3 days straight, ball deodorant helps you with the sweats, helps keep you dry in the places that are needed. Manscaped, man, they've been a part of this show, near and dear, not only to my heart, but near and dear to my balls. Manscaped.com, promo code Panthers gets you 20% off your first order plus free shipping. A lot of cool product. Look, I'm wearing the Manscaped t-shirt right now. Manscaped. Your balls will thank you. Promo code Panthers. Don't forget it. You're talking about trade, fire sale. Tell you, man, looking at a lot of these players, I'm like, man, who the hell would even want them? Half of them. But I think I got a trade. I think I got one after you. And it's not one, and I don't know what for. What we want out, just anything. I think we should send Adam Thielen. And you're like, wait a second.
What?
I know. But
you're already wild.
I think he would fit great on the Eagles right now. Right now they got Devontae Freeman. They got Brown. Is it Antonio Brown? I always call him
no, not
AJ Brown. AJ Brown. But they've got Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, and that's it. They've got Britton Covey, Devon Allen.
Who's their tight ends?
They do have Dallas Goedert. Yeah,
I mean,
but they don't have any other. And I'm telling you, their team is stacked to make the Super Bowl, right? And to have a red zone threat like that among those guys, and particularly a little
I'll give you a better place.
Okay.
It's got to go to the Chiefs. They're the only ones that have a wide receiver core that is
terrible.
Yeah, that is completely underwhelming for a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes.
Well, I feel like this is you could send every one of our wide receivers to the Chiefs and they would probably be better. But I don't know if the Chiefs would give you anything for wide receivers either. They're just like, all right, we'll take
them like they're nothing.
I tell you where I think what we should do if we're going to try to trade. I was just looking at the right now, if the season ended today, what the draft would be. It'd be Bears 1, Broncos 2, Bears 3. So I say we trade with the Broncos and do what we can to get that number 2 pick. If it ends up being like that.
They don't have it. They don't have it
for their
quarterback. Yeah, they don't have
unless they acquired one in a trade.
Well, then that means Seattle would have the number 2 pick.
Didn't they acquire? Sorry, was it for this past draft for like Bradley Chubb?
Yeah.
We're right about that, right? The Broncos they don't have a first round pick. I believe this year and next, right? Because they gave up 3 of them.
I mean, Tankathon says that it says right now Carolina has a number 1 pick, trade Chicago. Chicago has a number 2 pick, and Denver has a number 3 pick. Chicago has number 1, 2, and Denver has 3.
That's on
Doesn't say they
Tankathon?
doesn't say they traded. Yeah, it's on Tankathon.
Oh, the
It just
chat
says
room
minute
is
right
saying
now.
that. Chat room is saying they don't have one. I don't
The
know.
Eagles, would you take
I mean, it's showing our trade.
a second round pick from the Eagles for Adam Thielen? I would.
But why? We don't hit on anything past the first round. If we hit on the first round,
But dude, do you know how mean that is to Bryce? Like, he is literally the only guy that is making meaningful yards down the field. And then, we're going to send him somewhere else. You're going to throw the ball to TMJ and like it.
It's better than a 6 for TMJ.
As a fan, sure. But, like, as a realistic, like, if you were trying to build this team, that just seems cruel to your quarterback.
The Eagles have 2 second-round picks this year. They have one from the Saints and their own. Well, I think that's a little rich for Adam Thielen personally, but
if you're a contending team, I think it's a small price to pay. If you feel like your biggest piece, similar to like let's say the Chiefs, for instance. Like, I feel like the Chiefs he could play a very similar role to what Kelsey does, and I think that he would fit in really well with that offense. Like, I think that could be a match.
Yeah, because Mahomes would just have it perfect every time to him.
Right, perfect, and like because he's such a good route runner. Like, Mahomes is infamous for throwing guys open right at their routes and everything. So I think that would be, if there was a place that I would be looking to trade and somebody who would be probably willing to pay above market value for a receiver, it'd probably have to be the Chiefs, especially after the abysmal performance their wide receivers have been putting in.
And Tony, I was asking this on the well, go ahead, Greg.
Well, I was going to say, I think that's a better idea, CK, actually, than the Eagles. The more I think about the Eagles, I mean, let's be honest. The reason why Thielen is thriving so well in Carolina is because he has no other talent around him. Not saying he's a bad player, but you put him on a team with Brown and Devontae, Brown and
Johnson,
Smith.
He's not the number one wide receiver.
Same volume.
He's not the number one wide receiver anywhere in the NFL on any team. He's just not. And by the way, that's not even with us. But it's not even a shot at him. He's playing great football. Hey, he helped your boy win $50 on Prize Picks today. So shout out to him.
You should just use him every week as the more.
Dude, the thing to do on Prize Picks, whatever they have Adam Thielen listed as,
just go more.
You better hit more, because it's
like
pretty
48 yards or 58 yards every time.
Oh, dude, they had him at like an absurd number. They had him at like some really high number, and he still made it today. There was a point in the third quarter where we went to him 3 times in a row. Back to back to back.
What did we
do that on the 2-minute warning, like during the 2-minute drill in the first half?
I believe so. There's probably I want to say it was that was the third quarter that I remember it happening. But dude, he is the only legitimate receiver option for the Panthers. I mean, it's certainly not TMJ. It's certainly not DJ Chark. Jonathan Mingo is like. Whatever.
He played all right. Oh, let's see if we got a Mega Mingo today. Let's go to the next call.
Hey guys, Link. I'm watching the podcast right now live. I didn't get a chance to look at the game. I was doing the National Guard thing this weekend.
Oh, he sounds happy.
One, this is by far the worst roster we've ever had.
Jeez.
And we gave up draft picks while still having the worst roster. We have very little picks. We have 0 blue chip players except for maybe Frankie Louvu, and Brian Burns. And Brian Burns, he's not playing very well looking at that next contract. So what happened to him? But Scott Fitterer him and Matt Rule created this team. We got rid of one. Why didn't we get rid of the other one? I'm sorry. We should have gotten rid of both of them last year. And I do not think to be in this position. Miles Sanders, that's a big waste of money. If there was a chart on the worst offseason a team could have in the history of NFL, this would be in the top 5.
Jeez.
No joke. The top 5 worst offseasons identical team could have. Give a ton of draft picks for a potential quarterback who's deep ball. I don't think Tepper's do it, guys. I honestly think beyond 25 yards, it's a crapshoot.
I don't think we've ever seen it.
He's smart. He's talented, but he doesn't have the arm strength, doesn't have the height. Again, I know I'm harping on that again, but I am someone who lives in the state where he played college at. I saw him in live with my own 2 eyes. He's itty-bitty. Well, take care, guys. Hope to hear you guys more on the podcast, and we'll have to keep surviving. I can't say keep counting. We'll have to keep surviving.
Appreciate you, brother.
Great call. I mean, that's those are some tough words to hear right there. One of the top 5 worst off seasons, and this is how blinded we can be as fans, or at least I am. You know, we
were pumped,
dude.
We were all. No, it's not just you. It's a fan base. We were all pumped. We were all, liking we were getting high on our own supply. Put it that way.
How about this? This shows you how crappy it was. We don't even get to check off anything today. No 100-yard best rushing game by one running back all season long. Still didn't get 100 yards. No fumble recoveries. No mango touchdown. No road win. You'll never see a Horn interception again, it feels like. Forgot who that dude is. No special teams touchdown. Oh, but Johnny Hecker did headbutt a guy who flippity flopped like crazy.
Dude,
what
that was hilarious.
What a flop.
But hey, that
they should call there's a penalty in hockey for flops.
Is there really?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? There's
There
not
should
one
be.
in the NFL. So technically
be.
that guy did the right thing because it got the penalty. But yeah, it was a definite flop. Oh, by the way, a lot of people got mad earlier, Tony, when I said that we don't have one elite player
Who
on
is
our
it?
team. Johnny Hecker.
Well,
Dude,
okay.
if you notice, every time we punt, dude, he puts it at a great spot. The dude still has one of the bigger legs in the NFL, dude. So shout out to the Heck man.
Hey, quick question. I just put up a new poll in the chat. I want to ask y'all's opinion too. If we fired Scott Fitter at the end of last season and got a new GM, are we still trading for Bryce Young? Do you think a new GM would have?
Hey,
Yes,
say
because
say that question one more time.
If Scott Fitter had been fired at the end of last season, like when we fired, or not even last season, like when we fired Fitter or 2, do you think that the new GM would have traded to get Bryce Young?
Yes. I absolutely do, because I don't think Scott Fitter traded for Bryce Young. I think David Tepper did.
Okay. That's
Or
fair.
maybe that it wouldn't have been Bryce Young, but
No, I mean, if you
made the
believe the
trade.
rumors out there, I think this was always going to come down to Bryce Young for David Tepper.
Yeah, David Tepper was head over heels over Bryce Young. And there are many rumors that the coaching staff preferred Stroud, but the front office and David Tepper, they preferred Bryce. And the billionaire is going to get what the billionaire wants.
So then how much blame can we really put on Fitter for a move like that?
I don't even care, Greg.
Like if we know that with Bryce, then how do we know not that with the rest of the roster?
Can't fire the owner Tepper.
That's the
Yeah,
problem.
but
You're
all right,
exactly
so
You can't fire
but
the owner. Yeah.
okay, but as a draft, if you look at all the other picks, including the past 3 years or the past 2 years in a row, we traded up in the 3rd round. We traded up for Matt Corral, no longer on the team. We traded up for DJ Johnson. Dude, that guy fucking sucks to this point in his career. So it's
you
like
can't even say that. He doesn't even play.
But that's what I'm saying. You must suck.
I mean, well, I would say it's beyond that. I mean, it's like such a bad. It'd be one thing if you played and you were bad.
Right.
How about trading up for a person that you don't even? I mean, and they show them in practice. There's been a couple of like these reps that will float out of practice against nobodies, and it's just like,
dude,
and he doesn't do anything. You're like, oh my god,
just getting bullied, man. One of our offensive linemen, it was a backup old lineman, just pushed him into the dirt, bro.
It's just, yeah. It's the people. He said Coach P said DJ got destroyed by backup guards. I mean, you're right. He sucks, but he sucks so bad you don't even play.
Yeah, that's how bad he sucks. So,
and you guys can't tell me, man. Look, I'm at the point in this is that I think. Look, do I know if it would be the right move to do this? I'm not sure. Do I think it would be ill-advised? I can't say it would be to just clean entire house at the end of this season.
You have nothing to be able to like argue against that move.
Right,
like,
right.
There's
I
been
mean,
nothing that makes you feel like we have pieces to build around. Right.
I think
like,
if you fire Scott Fitterer, I think you should also be open to firing the entire coaching staff
But
too.
if you're a coach, how about this? Let's say you're a Ben Johnson, right? Right now, that's kind of the big name. The Detroit Lions, they're one of the better teams in football. Their offensive coordinator, he's a name that everybody's talking about. He was also a name that was in play for us last year as well. Well, if you're Ben Johnson and you saw that they hired and fired Matt Rule, then you bring in Frank Reich and hire and fire him after 1 year when you just moved up to draft a quarterback. Like, what coach wants to come to play here if you're going to have this owner and David Tepper, butting his head into everything and making decisions on behalf of his staff and his front office? It's like, we're not a prize destination for any player, for any coach. It's like, I don't even know who would want to be a part of this.
Well, then if you're really concerned about the perception that would come with the Carolina Panthers by doing that, then I would hire that new GM with a secret clause in their contract that says we're going 1 year with this current coaching staff to just prevent that stink from getting on our team. But if it doesn't improve like significantly and you feel like the future can be better by you picking the head coach, then you're going to have that freedom to do it in the following year
without our input.
Right.
So
without
4 years,
that's my
new head coaches possibly 4 years.
Right. Yeah. I just think this is, I've been consistent on this show saying this, is that I think that it creates a good continuity and a good power structure when the GM hires the coach. Mm-hmm. And like the caller said earlier, is that by firing Scott Fitterer and then you bring in another GM and then you pair him with Frank Reich, and then next year what happens is you win 6 games and then Bryce Young gets hurt and you're like, well, another year and it's going to be better, and then another year and and then before you know it, you're firing all of them again. So I think this is I don't know if it would be the right thing to do to fire Frank Reich after a year. I don't think it would be wild to say. I think the one thing you could say to other coaches is you say, look, is that it just wasn't working at all. It was just so bad that we decided to tear the Band-Aid off. And it sucks. It's a risk we take, but if you believe in the progress you can make and we're going to believe in you, I don't know. CK, how do you find the middle ground on that?
Dude, that's what I'm saying. It's like one of the most complicated things when it comes to a GM, because of that specific reason and the fact that there's so many things that go into an off season as a GM, with regard to scouting and like trying to create a plan as to what you want your team to look like. I mean, there's so much that can go into this stuff, and I don't know that there's ever a perfect time to do it. I don't know that there's ever been a scenario, like, it's hard for me to be able to pinpoint a scenario where we've been able to say that this is the way to do it,
Mm-hmm.
Well, we should have done it this way before. We should have, we should have fired Scott Fitt. We should have cleaned house entirely and said this is like, I don't, but you know what? I think this tells us, man, is that that David Tepper liked Fitterer because he cupped his balls for him.
He was a yes man. He was a patsy, man. That's all it was. I want to read this super chat real quick because I've kind of been saying the same thing. Steve Smith had a lot to say about Jerry Jeudy, but told the Panthers to draft Jonathan Mingo. Just saying, dude.
And what team is going to call Steve Smith up to say who?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You know what
dude.
he should have said? He should have said, when that one team that I always hang out with calls me and asks me if they should trade for you, I must say no, and that's why they didn't trade for you.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Chuck from Elizabeth City. Just calling in and just kind of wanted to say,
I see some improvement. I know we got beat. I know it could have been worse. There's a few things we left on the field. But you definitely see a team with speed versus a team at a few positions that are deprived. First of all, I definitely think Bryce is getting better. He doesn't have a lot to work with. I'd like to see what he had if he had a Tyreek Hill or a Waddle on his team. Thank God for Adam Thielen. I mean, Thielen played a hell of a game. He was kind of clamped down in the second half. I saw a little bit of effort and tremble today. But, hey, guys, I saw more running today. And Miles Sanders, we made a big mistake with that guy because Chuba Hubbard ran hard and ran well. And that guy should be our feature back. He might not be the best back, but he's the best back we got. And I think a good ground game and the offensive line seemed to gel and run well for him and did well and open it up for Bryce a little bit. You can see Bryce's pinpoint accuracy was on point. It's just he holds the ball too long, but he has to because no one can get open. The defense showed up at spurts of time, but we got a lot of injuries. We hung in there for a while. And if we had played any other game in the past, this past 5 weeks like we played today, I think we could have had 2 or 3 wins, at least a couple. So I do see improvement. We're going to the bye. I think the next 3 games will be a litmus test between Houston, Indianapolis, and Chicago. Will we win all 3? Probably not. But if we don't win 2 out of 3 of those, I'll be disappointed because it's going to get hard again. But
I'm just looking for one right now, Chuck.
Frustration-wise, is coaching staff not calling timeouts at the end of the first half when they had a chance. Going forward on a 3rd and 2, when you throw the ball instead of running the ball, if you're going to go for it on 4th down, it's 4-down territory. They just didn't utilize the clock and play possession. You know, Panera misses a field goal just a couple of times that we lost some points, whether it be the 3 and then the next possession where we didn't get anything when we're down there. But really, guys, I saw some improvement, a team fighting a little bit, and it's better than what I've seen in the past few weeks. So let's see what happens from here on out. That's all we can do, and keep pounding.
This super chat hits hard here, Cody.
Yeah, man. Cheshire Cat with a $20 love bomb. He says, how can David Tepper let Matt Rule, who doesn't have any experience, have the power to pick his players in the draft and pick his quarterback when it comes to finally having an experienced head coach who can't pick his own quarterback? It's all on Tepper. Bah, 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 bah. Hit the applause, Tony. Dude,
maybe
that
it's not. Maybe it can't be that simple, though.
It is. Look, call me a conspiracy theorist. That's what I believe. Everybody knows, and Tony, you and I have had this conversation. Everybody knows Frank Reich likes the big, strong quarterback. But now, all of a sudden, he's okay with the shorter system kind of a quarterback. Okay, maybe it's just, to me, if it looks like
and
a
then
duck,
you throw the ball 58 times when you get
Andy Dalton under center.
Yeah,
come on, dude. It's like, don't piss on my leg and tell me you're training. The stats with $5 says Smitty is in the loop and didn't want Judy, so he said that stuff knowing it would go viral and knew it would hamstring Fit for making the trade. I hear you, but it didn't hamstring Fit when he traded for Baker Mayfield, and and Steve Smith had been launching a tirade on Baker Mayfield for the past, however many months in a row that was. So I don't know. I don't feel like the Panthers look too kindly on it whenever Steve Smith continues to go out there and bash on these players who might potentially be trade bait or someone who might potentially the Panthers might be interested in trading for.
All right, let's go to the next call.
Hey, y'all, it's Lou from Fort Myers. And y'all know how I've been hyping up how I was ready to go see the Panthers. I failed y'all. I didn't get to sign the Mr. Beast Please Buy the Panthers. I'm going to break it down, quick story time. So my dad's been a Dolphins fan for 50 years. When I became a Panthers fan, because Cam Newton. I don't know. Some of y'all live up north, but my dad's from Florida. He lives in Orlando, so it's much cooler up there. He's a diabetic, so minute walk to the dang stadium. So we get to the stadium, and we're literally in line to, like, you know how you go through the metal detectors and everything. We're literally in line, and he passes out. So they had to bring an ambulance to the stadium, and I didn't get to watch the boys. You know, it would have been my first Panthers game.
Ooh.
It would have been my dad's first Dolphins game ever. We grew up from we didn't have that much money, so spending money on games wasn't affordable. But, you know, I make more money than my dad, so I wanted to, you know, take him out to go see the game one time, and he ended up passing up at the front gate. Oh, I did watch some of the game on the Stream East.
Sorry to hear that, brother.
Stream East. But I will say, if y'all feeling bad, trust me, your day can't be any worse than mine. He's doing all right. He was dehydrated. His blood sugar was down. His blood pressure was down. And that's what caused him to pass out. You know, when you're 67 years old, you know, you got to keep your eye on those things. And the heat, him being dehydrated and sweating, and that 40-minute walk all the way down to the stadium, it gets to you. Currently, I'm in the process of getting the refunds or something. I talked to one of the managers from the stadium, came up, got my info and everything. So next, I'm about to call them. But I will say, man, hope y'all had a better Sunday than me. I was ready. The night before, I pulled the Bryce Young rookie card out of a pack, and I was there to get him to sign it, but we didn't even get to step foot in the stadium.
Nice.
So, Panthers Nation, keep pounding, man. Have my dad in y'all prayers. Thank y'all so much.
Definitely will, brother. Hey, man, that's a terrible story. I hate to hear that, man.
You even heard them say on the broadcast that it was
90 degrees.
and that it felt like in the 90s. You know, man. So it was warm too. Man, that's tough. That's a sad story. I hope your dad is feeling better. And just know this is that getting your dad some medical attention far more important than you know. I know that experience. You want to have that, you know, go to the game. You want to have that experience with your father too. Good bonding experience, your team, his team, you know, just so many good things there. But know that his health is far more important than getting in that game.
Yeah. If he's doing okay, hey, man, it wasn't meant to be. I don't know if you're religious or not, but one of my favorite sayings is when God closes his door, he's getting ready to open a bigger and better one, man. So keep waiting, keep patient, and keep pounding, brother. By the way, we got a brand new super chat from Sizzle God with the $9.99. Says a way to know that our team leadership isn't on the same page is that Tepper told the team to make a pick based off of Steve Smith's inputs. Fuck our scouts, huh?
True. Good point. Good point. All right, next call.
Yo, man, I think Bryce is getting better, man. Each week you see progress. A lot of the stuff that you see is not really on him. We're not losing because we have a bad quarterback. We're losing because we have a lack of talent. I mean, another week where he was sacked multiple times, pressures in his face, and I get that he's not hitting all the deep passes, but I mean, damn it, can he get a deep pass without somebody being in his face? Can he actually drop back, go through his read, and step into a throw without having to evade somebody or without having a free rusher in front of his face?
I don't know. I'm a Panthers fan. I wouldn't know anything about that.
Throughout the season, is that the run defense can't stop a nosebleed. You know what I'm saying? And that's the main thing. Like, Miami's running back averages like 5-6 yards a carry. Of course, against us, he averages like 8 or 9. So, I mean, we can't stop the run. Our best receiver is a 33-year-old. So, I mean, like, what are we supposed to do? And we also Tuba's the best running back we have, period. So hopefully we make some adjustments moving forward, leaving Tuba as our guy. But, I mean, we're just not a good team. There's not a lot of talent around Bryce. And once we get him a real receiver, as good as Thielen look, he's going to dominate once we have a good receiver. Once we stop,
I think it's going to take more than that, though. I think it's going to take
he's going to be fine.
Whole offensive line.
Saying? I mean, you can go back to Trevor Lawrence and Mac Jones. Mac Jones is like a way better rookie than Trevor Lawrence. 3 years later, how does that look? You know what I'm saying? Baker Mayfield look like a way better rookie than Josh Allen. Fast forward, how does that look? So, I mean, it's going to be time. I mean, I'm not one of those fans that was buying Scott Fitter's wolf ticket saying, hey, we fixed the O-line, we got better, all we need is a quarterback. I looked at the offseason and said, hey, man, we got worse at the O-line because we're starting without – I didn't think Christian was going to be ready. I knew Corbin was going to be out. So, I mean, that's just what it was. We got worse at receiver. You know what I'm saying? We didn't really get sustainably better on D-line. We can't stop the run. Last time we was able to stop the run, we had 2 stud defensive tackles and 2 stud linebackers, Thomas Davis, Luke Kuechly, and we had Starr and KK Short. I mean, the front seven has holes. The offensive line has holes. So, like, it's going to be real interesting moving forward to see what the hell are we doing. Like, are we going all out to get Bryce on weapons? Are we going all out to get him protection? Because I don't see us being able to do both. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a lot of holes on this team. I'm glad we didn't get, like, 70 pointed today by the Dolphins. But, I mean, I think we'll win some games. I don't think we're going to be like a 0-win team. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we're going to win this in the division. So, I mean, help is on the way. Keep coming.
I like this call. Good call, man. I think that first, stop being so reasonable on a post-game show. Stop being a reasonable fan. No, I think you may bring up a long list, a laundry list of issues facing the Panthers. And those are all things that are contributing to us not winning for sure. I guess the question is like, I don't think we expect to win at this point, or at least I don't really expect to win single games. I'm starting to, I guess, expect to win small battles if we can't win the war. And yeah, I mean, look, as Bryce has progressed from is like Cody said, incrementally gotten better each week. And I'm happy with that. If that's what, look, he's our player, and if I'd rather for him to get incrementally better than incrementally worse. There are some concerns about his height that are still that are concerning to me. And it's not that he's not good. It's not this. It's just, man, is like, those guys are really tall around. So I just want to know, is there ever going to be a time where there isn't pressure in your face? And yes, I mean, I know that you can build a good offensive line. I think that that's something Cody and all of us have been saying, is that now a player like Bryce, where you know that that's kind of a requirement, will force you to invest resources sooner than later into that. So I'm not out on that. It's just as a Panther fan, I also know that we're not allowed to have a good offensive line.
No. And you know what? I still don't even think we fixed our left tackle problem. Because that's another
right tackle problem.
Well, I mean, no, Taylor Moton has played better than Akim Ekwonu. And by the way, like, I'm going to continue to pound this drum. Akim Ekwonu is not a left tackle. He is good when you're running the football, but he does not have the requisite skills in pass protection to be the guy that's going to defend your quarterback's blind side for the better part of the next decade. I'm not even calling him a bust. I'm saying put him at the position he needs to be playing, which is left guard. And I've been saying that. Boom. I'm going to continue to say that too.
All right, this is the final call of the show right here.
Hey. You know who the fuck it is. Booyaka, booyaka, booyaka.
Pay the debts, G.
G, baby, I just want to give my condolences to all the victims over there in Israel, man. what's going on in Israel is way bigger than a lot of things right now, and it's just really heartbreaking, man. It's truly heartbreaking. Where I come from, like, I thought women and children were off limits. I thought women and children were off limits, and what the fuck that's going on over there in Israel is just really heartbreaking, and it makes me look at my life. And hindsight is 2020. I could have been born into the part of the world where shit like this is going on, you know. I'm an African American or a Black American. I could have been born in Africa, and there's still civil wars going on in just Africa. And it just really makes me look at my life different. I take a lot of things for granted. I'm very unappreciative of a lot of things, and I just want to, you know, give my condolences to all the victims, all the women, all the children. There's about to be a ground invasion. So, you know, I have the opportunity to take care of my family, my son, my family, everyone's safe, everyone's eating good, living good. And I just want to say, you know, I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed to be able to wake up this morning and go work overtime at work. I'm blessed to be able to, you know, watch these NFL games. And, we just take a lot of shit for granted. And I just want to give my condolences to those guys. You know who it is. It's G, baby. I'll be calling back.
Introspective G.
Introspective G. Way to put it.
Nice. Yeah.
All right, those are all the calls for today. I guess this is just final thoughts on the game. Look, is these streets are about to get rough. I think is like, look, is the next 3 weeks, right? Do we have a bye next week?
We do.
Thank God, dude.
We got a bye.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I am so ready for an entire Sunday of nothing but red zone, dude. You can't hurt me there, Carolina.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll try to have the charity lined up in the next couple days for
we'll have to see
show.
if we can get something. I know we've been slacking on our efforts there. So if we can't, you know, we might take our own charity bye week and just nap. Look, the team, I think the caller brought, look, the team wasn't good. We knew that 3 weeks ago. We knew that last week. We knew that this week. We knew, to be honest, today was not the bloodbath that I expected it to be. But when you saw like the over-under at 48 for in Vegas and the line only at 14.5 or something like for Carolina, something was afoot. And what I thought this is ultimately, I guess what it turns out is Vegas didn't think the Panthers offense could score. And they thought that the Dolphins would just come out, put it on us, and then run the rest of the game. Almost happened that way, except for the Panthers put up a little fight in the beginning. Look, a lot of question marks surrounding this team and no answers coming in the near future. And the other thing is every time that we open this, I open Twitter up or the news before a game, the injury report gets longer and longer. They're IRing people. And right now, strangely this week, some ways it was addition by subtraction. Look, yeah. Bryce Young incrementally. Look, Bryce Young improved from last week to this week. I think the run game improved from last week to this week. I think the coaching in some ways improved from last week to this week. But there continues to be a ton of red flags, or at least this is that, like Greg so eloquently put, is there is light at the end of the tunnel, but it turns out it's a train. This year is a train wreck, man. And maybe we were fools for buying into it. We're not foolishly giving up on it just yet, because we'll be here through all the pain. We'll be through all the suffering. If you guys got any final comments about the team or the game, now's your time to make them. If not, or while we're doing it, let's go ahead and get into. You want to run the towel of shame first?
Yeah.
We'll do the towel of shame. This is where we call out the worst player on the team, or our least favorite of the day.
You know what? Just for old time's sake.
We go around the horn and we pick out a player that we thought stunk it up today. And Cody, I'll let you go first because I took yours last week.
To me, even though he didn't play, Miles Sanders, I think your absence was louder than your presence has ever been. So, towel of shame.
My towel of shame is kind of a twofold. One is goes to DJ Chark for me believing that you were going to be any good. Towel of shame to me on that one, and towel of shame to Terrace Marshall Jr. You know what? I never was optimistic on you in the first place, and then it just took so long, and all these other people. I just said, you know what? This year I need to be optimistic, and you just gotten worse. I don't know. How are we going to trade a guy who's a disappearing act? That would be a magic trick in itself. Imagine if you can make Terrace Marshall Jr. Disappear and something appear. That would be a magic trick. Talent shame.
Yeah. I guess mine's just going to go to the whole offensive line. There's not really one in particular that I can talk about. 4 sacks today. I mean, we're letting up so many sacks. It's insane. Everybody knows my feelings about Bryce Young going in.
They got so many balls. They got a manscape.
Look, everybody knows my feelings about Bryce Young going in, but at the same time, man, if you can't protect this guy, he has absolutely no shot at all without a line that can give him a second. He's had a few plays where he's had an open pocket, and they hold every once in a while, but man, it's just too much pressure on him for anybody, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go with the defensive line. Not having barely any pressure or any sacks. They didn't impact this game in any positive way. The defensive line has got to get my towel of shame today.
All right. Now for Cody's least favorite award, we now go to the David Dotto Ball Out Award, aka the David Dotto form, aka Dab on 'em Ball Out Award goes to player of the game. Goes to first. I go with Johnny Hecker for headbutting somebody. That's my player of the game.
Yeah.
I want to go Shy Tuttle for 3 tipped passes.
Oh, very good.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I am going to go Tommy Tremble for straight up hurdling a dude in the first quarter and looking like he's finally starting to come on.
All right.
How about this, Adam Thielen? Easy one for me. The dude has been the most consistent player we've had on this team since 2008. Is that the ESPN David Newton's thing? He said that nobody's had more production than Adam Thielen through the first 6 games as a Panthers wide receiver since 2008.
Wow. And then I'll have to adjust mine to Chuba Hubbard. Man, when you ball out like that, you get a Chuba. I'm telling you that. Look, as even I can give you a ball out award. Michael Wade is in there talking about how his team, FAU, is going to decimate the East Carolina Pirates, Florida Atlantic, November 11th. I tell you, to say that, man, that sounds like a sad weekend for me because November 11th is my birthday. And whoever we play on the 12th, I don't feel like we're going to have a good weekend of football for me. My birthday. Anyway, this is the C3 Panthers post-game show. I don't know, we'll have to judge this by Tuesday night's podcast, but we're going to be going into the bye week. You can wonder what changes. Keep an eye on C3 over the next week or 2 weeks to see if there's any breaking news about maybe Scott Fitter's job or even more damning the whole damn crew. Who knows what could happen. David Tepper. Hopefully David Tepper's lost a little interest if you're Frank Reich or these guys, that he's not paying so much attention anymore. But look, is the calls, think about this, is the wear and tear. Was the decline in calls after today's game from shows past, Was it because of the understanding and the recognition that, man, Miami's really good? We're going to get smoked anyway. I'm going to go hang out and watch the rest of football. Or is this the slow infiltration of apathy? Guys, we need your help to not let that happen to the C3 Panthers podcast, though. My name's Tony Dunn. You can follow me on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. Greg, tell them how they can get after you.
Check me out at the Bat Daddy 52 on Twitter. And this Friday, I'm firing my show back up, Geeks Chasing Squirrels Across the Multiverse, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and Rumble or any podcatcher of your choice. Come check us out.
CK?
You find me on X at Codizzle Allen. I'll be tweet from time to time, but mainly you'll find me here on the channel.
Cody Lack.
You can find me in the club, body full of bub. No, I'm playing. Yeah, man, hit me up at CodyLack, CODYLAC @gmail.com every Friday at 7 p.m. for the Friday free-for-all. You can be a part of the show, join the show via StreamYard. And listen, y'all, I'm loving it. Fans are loving it. We've been putting out these all 22 film reviews every Thursday. They're like an hour and 30 minutes long. Like, we're breaking it down, rewinding it, looking at different players. Like, we're really doing some deep dives and kind of showing what we're seeing on film. Fans are loving it. I hope y'all check it out. We've been enjoying doing them. It's been a great time. So please check that out. And last but not least, find me on drafttech.com where I write comments for the Panthers and Texans.
All right, take us out of here, my friend.
C3 Nation. Until next time, keep pounding.